All right. We've got SERRAL in the grand finals. No surprise that the Basilisk Beast is at it again, petrifying his opponents left, right, and center. But he's got a monster in front of him. A man that has risen to incredible heights recently. I am both one of his biggest fans, and as many of you will say, one of his biggest detractors in terms of... I don't mean he's bad, I just criticize his play. And yet he has been pooping my criticism away, knocking it away, saying, Pig, shut up about me getting supply blocked. He doesn't get supply blocked lately. He plays clean openings. He's so decisive in the mid game. He's always been one of the greatest comeback players of all time. And the man shows 100% confidence. This is, of course, Dragon Kaiser Gaming's Dark. I'm really excited to see how this one goes. SERRAL took him down 3-1 the last time they played. Dark tried a lot of aggressive build orders right out of Solar's book. Solar's been dominating SERRAL the last 2 times they played. It didn't quite work out. SERRAL seemed to have closed up those holes in his game. So I expect Dark to bring out a different approach. What that will be, I have no idea. But I definitely expect potential mind games. I do expect both sides to do some carapace roach pushes at each other, as that was a big feature in the last one. And I do expect to see some Mutalisk play. SERRAL and Dark doing mirrored builds so far. Identical worker counts, similar gas count. It's very similar. The only difference is Dark didn't pull off gas, whereas SERRAL pulled 1 worker off gas, which he'll put back on there sometime in the next 30 seconds. That Zergling gets pushed back from the front. Instant Roach Warren. Dark's doing a rogue. Okay, Solar beat SERRAL on this exact map, exact same spawn with this build order. Rogue used to love this build order back in the day. I'm going to do a bunch of Ling Bane pressure, and then when you're busy trying to drone up recovering from the pressure, 8 roaches going to come out, and it's going to be a wave of Roach Baneling, but it's off a very low economy, only 28 workers, and if SERRAL can scout it, he will be able to stop it. He's making Banelings. He's doing his own Zergling pressure. If he gets in and sees that Roach Warren in the back of the natural, that would be fantastic. Dark only has 2 queens. SERRAL is building a 3rd. SERRAL is also droning hard behind this. Good micro so far by SERRAL, going after that 3rd hatchery. Baneling's going to try and roll down there. I like the way Dark is kind of disguising what he's up to so far, keeping a Baneling in reserve on the ramp. And SERRAL does trade the Banelings there. Gets a pretty good Ling fight as well, trapping 2 of those Lings that were trying to retreat. Wouldn't mind SERRAL turning around just to get 1 hit on that Zergling. But overall, slightly positive trade for SERRAL. Now, SERRAL has an Overlord over that 3rd. This is a nice position because the Queen can't chase you up that ledge very easily. So he's seeing no drones coming out, and indeed... Whoa! Whoa! Dark ran up the ramp and just lost 15 Zerglings to a Baneling, guys. Oh, no. And he's already showing his hand with the Roaches. This is a crazy fast rush, but SERRAL playing so safe. I did not expect Dark to keep playing so aggressive. Look at that. The full wall is a hard counter to this build. If you full wall with an Evo Chamber, it buys you so much time. SERRAL with a fantastic way there of giving up his 3rd. He doesn't care about losing his 3rd. He just needs to get Roaches out. Dark actually is going to go for the 3rd, and SERRAL's going to cancel the Evo. He's like, oh, okay, in that case, I don't need to wall off necessarily if you're going to waste time going for the 3rd base. I think that spine could get cancelled as well for SERRAL. SERRAL's got to be careful. He's trying to move his spines to the low ground. He's trying to bait Dark into a bad engagement, but he's used his Banelings up. That's a big mistake for SERRAL. You need to keep a Baneling in reserve usually, otherwise the Zerglings can overwhelm and surround. I said big mistake. It's a small mistake. A Spine Crawler not able to root this whole time. Finally, SERRAL's rooting it. His 3rd base does get taken out, but a Hero Roach does trade pretty well. Units Lost Tab is in favor of Dark after sniping the hatchery, but he's been down in workers this whole time. Keep that in mind. Both sides matching each other's army count. SERRAL has more Roaches, but Dark has more Zerglings, and a nice surround. As the Lings come in for SERRAL, it'll turn okay for him, but Dark focuses down a few of his Roaches. He knows he's going to lose his Roaches with the Lings obviously having the speed advantage. And that there at the end of the day, Units Lost Tab, 300 resources in favor of SERRAL despite losing his 3rd, but Dark has a 3rd hatchery up. The worker count is near identical. SERRAL has a lair on the way. He's also got an Evo Chamber started, and a 3rd Queen is on the way for Dark, whereas SERRAL has not started a 3rd Queen. Very, very close game from here. I like the way Dark did drone out of this, realizing it's been spotted too early. I lost a bunch of my Zerglings to a Baneling. I can't kill you with this, but I also love the respect from SERRAL saying, just make sure he can't run up my ramp. It's such a fast push, but it doesn't have a lot of follow through. It's like 7 Roaches. It's a rush of units getting up there. And going to be interesting to see how it goes. Spire does go down for SERRAL. Realizing with a few Spine Crawlers, he's already in a more of a defensive stance on the ground game. Roach push won't be as easy to do. Zergling's unable to get in. 2 Spine Crawlers will one-shot that. So this kind of automatically defends Lings getting into your base. Dark's lair is also much later, but Dark has a 5 worker advantage. And that earlier third really paying off. His third is like fully mining on minerals. SERRAL's just getting his first few drones there. SERRAL's going to go for a scout. He'll see that drone count on the third. It'll make him feel pretty safe, but no, he won't see it actually. And he sees a roach popping out, so he might be a little paranoid. But Dark doesn't have roach speed, so he really can't push right now. I'm surprised Dark is building so many roaches, in fact. Because he's not really got any way of being aggressive with them. And that's going to make it hard for him to deal with the Mutalisks, because he's not got... The thing is, you need a big economy to deal with mutas. Mutalisks cost you spores. Every spore you build kills a drone. It costs you queens. Queens are very mineral heavy. So you always want to have a big mineral advantage when you're going into those units. You also want to try and pull your overlords back for safety. Dark's going to make an overseer, but mutas are already on the way, so those mutas are going to find plenty of overlords on the map. There's a ling backstab in the top right, so if the roaches come across, those lings will run in and kill some drones. SERRAL's also going roaches behind it, so it's just 5 Mutalisks, and then into mass roach of his own. SERRAL has 61 drones versus 62. He's got a 4th in the bottom left. Dark has more roaches, but like I said, he built those roaches a bit too early, and this is turning into kind of a desperate roach all-in. The mutas come out as the overseer comes out. I don't know if Dark can commit to this. I feel like he has to chill out because those Mutalisks will have so much time working on him. Overseer goes down on the right. Overlord goes down on the left. The other Overlords are trying to get home, but the Mutalisks aren't going to be letting them do that. +2 starting for SERRAL as well. So SERRAL is down in overall supply. Roach first roach count looking great for Dark, but you can't attack off creep. And an infestation pit starts up for Dark. Overseer does fly in. SERRAL sees spore crawlers, which is a good sign, seeing a few spores that he's not going to be going Nidus Worm. Losing that Overseer for SERRAL, not the greatest though. Good pickup for Dark. Dark has a massive unit. He can absolutely make plays from here, but without a 4th base secured and not a lot of mobile anti-air, it's a little awkward to play that next step. You'd like to be going 4th base, infestors, maybe a couple infestors if it was Lingbane Muta, but because it's roaches, Dark just wants to confirm that it's a roach follow-up. I notice SERRAL denying that scouting. I think Dark can assume. So you want to go lurk a Viper here. Probably don't even need the Vipers with only 5 Mutalisks, but you want to kind of just turtle queens, roaches to defend. Dark, I think he can assume there's a hatchery down there, but he's really not getting a lot of information other than, well, you're blocking me there, so you must be doing that. This is really exciting because Dark was a massive underdog, in my opinion, versus Hero with their recent form. And yet, Dark did so good versus Hero. Bunny looked amazing. I thought SERRAL was going to have a hard series. He cleaved through him like a hot knife through butter. After this whole tournament being so close, 4-3, 4-3, 4-3, and so many round of 8 matches, all of them, in fact, the semifinals were pretty dominant for both of these guys. But now they run into each other, and when 2 dominant players from the previous round crash into each other, you know the fireworks are going to go off. It was a distraction with the roaches so that the banelings could get the big juicies. 14 drone kills. And that was a delicious engagement for SERRAL. Now, Dark is going Infestors. Remember I said you only want to go Infestors if they're going Lingbane? He knows they're going Roaches, so making Infestors wouldn't make a lot of sense. It's Dark, though, and the man is absolutely mad. He loves Roach Ravager Infestor more than anyone. For those who don't know, if Dark is behind in a game, he always has a go-to. Zerg vs Terran, Zerg vs Zerg, and Zerg vs Protoss. Roach Ravager Infestor. It is his comeback composition. He's made it work a lot of the time, but it's so hard to make this work against someone as good as SERRAL, and it works much better versus Terran than it does versus Zerg or Protoss. The Roach Ravager taking some big biles on both sides. SERRAL's committing pretty damn hard right now. The Roach Ravager trying to find an angle, trying to force the fight, but he eats some pretty big biles, does SERRAL. Oh man, Dark needs more units out. His Infestors are popping. They do have Fungals, and and SERRAL, he up out of there. Oh my god. That was a huge fungal combo. Was it enough? It keeps him alive for now, and they will get value over time. You can't really rely on them in the long term. The first fungal is always the best. It's the surprising fungal that catches the opponent off guard and gets the big juicy hit. But Dark is on 3 base, and SERRAL is on 4. SERRAL is taking a 5th. SERRAL has a Hive and a Lurkaden on the way. And it's a position where how do you break out? You know, the Roach Ravager Infestor, you're hoping your opponent will basically get kind of arrogant and headbutt into you in a big ball of units, and you can land more of those fungal bile combos. SERRAL, arrogance, cockiness, headbutting. I don't think these words go together. These are not matches, you know? If you're staring at one of those puzzles where you got to identify the pattern, you definitely don't think of SERRAL and pig-headedly attacking. He comes in with a big spread, so the big juicy fungals are just not available. The infestors are out of energy as well. The mutalisks trying to overwhelm. If the queens get taken out, the mutas are going to have a party. There's still 5 of them overhead. Biles not able to connect. And oh, big fungal on the left side. Really nice. But it's hard to even land the Biles on top of those units. And it feels like SERRAL just has the numbers. He's had 13 workers advantage for so long. He had the upgrade advantage earlier in this game. And I definitely do think Dark maybe just overbuilt roaches a little bit, not realizing SERRAL was going for such a quick lair. Dark, in his mind, thought SERRAL might try a roach counterattack. Dark played overly safe while SERRAL confidently went towards the mutalisks. And it turns out SERRAL had the right read on what was happening. And the fast lair really helped him out. 2 mutalisks do go down to the spore crawlers, but SERRAL is just far too ahead in supply. SERRAL's looked so bloody strong recently. He's had to dig into his big bag of tricks in Zerg vs Terran. His ZVP has looked pretty damn unstoppable. And his Zerg vs Zerg after those upsets for Solar, I feel like it made SERRAL angry. And look at that face, just pure focus and determination. All right, a very convincing start to the series for SERRAL. And it was on US West as well. We're going back to Central, slightly better server for him. SERRAL did lose the coin toss. But it's Dark's map pick, Royal Blood. And it looks like both players wanting to keep it on the middle-sized maps to start things off. It's going to be interesting what happens when it gets deeper in the series and you've got like, okay, we're playing Neo Humanity, we're playing Altitude, we're playing Ancient Cistern. Can't wait to see what goes on there, man. All right, looks like 16 hatch for both sides. I'm really curious. Like that last game, I definitely think Dark just built roaches a little bit in the follow-up. Didn't quite have the read. And SERRAL very confidently going for mutalisks. More drones on the way, man. More drones on the way. I'm thinking about how I would approach this series as Dark. I apologize for being a little bit silent, but I feel like ZvZ is such it's so much about your planning and what you bring to the series. And I know that SERRAL has a very good read on Reyna recently, I think. I think he brings a lot of preparation to his Reyna series over the last few years and really understands how to get off to the series in a good start. That last one felt like he was just playing rock solid, where he's like, I think he might feel that his answer to Dark is to just basically scout and defend. Play super standard, scout and defend. Do the logical choices at each stage of the game. And his build order is just slightly tighter, 1 second ahead on the queens and that sort of stuff. Dark building the Overlord a little slower. He's going to go for the 27 Overlord as opposed to the 21 Overlord. Ooh. A little late on that Overlord, to be fair for Dark. Dark's link speed is also slightly later. He doesn't pull off gas, whereas SERRAL always pulls one worker off gas. No big differences. We're just looking for little details to try to read into what the player's focus is, but you can see here SERRAL ahead a couple of those units in the drones, and the third base goes down, similar time for both players. You want to make your Baneley Nest no later than about 2 minutes 50 if you want to be safe against a Ling Flood on your third, but these players often like to be greedy and try to get it a bit later. SERRAL, super safe, 245 Baneley Nest. Dark, 250 on the dot. So if SERRAL was doing a Ling Flood, he definitely would have a better attempt at sniping that third base than Dark. Oh, Dark's going for the snipey snipe. That's a good move. The other Overlord has to pull back. SERRAL will get in for a scout, but losing an Overlord this early does hurt. SERRAL's already building 3 Overlords to compensate. It's actually kind of funny. Even when you kill his Overlord, he doesn't get supply blocked, whereas Dark's sitting on 36 out of 36 there for a little bit. Dark's making some Zerglings. I think they're just safety lings, though, because more drones powering up right afterwards. So far, still a very even game. I think killing the Overlord is a nice way, especially when you're building the third queen in the main to inject. Keep that going. SERRAL Zergling is doing what SERRAL Zergling... Oh, he sees the Roach Warren! Well, this is where Dark is going to play a 300 IQ mind game. He's not going to cancel it, and he's still going to do a Roach attack, guys. He's like, you scouted it, but you scouted it so early, no sane pro Zerg would actually let that finish and commit to the Roach attack. And Dark's just like, and that's why you least expect it. And I'm not even kidding. Like, SERRAL himself will be very wary of this now because he's like, I've scouted a Roach Warren very early. I can't react to it. All I'll do is build my own early Roach Warren and keep scouting. And until I see roaches coming out, I will not build roaches. And he sees an Evo. He sees drones popping out of the hatchery, which is the most important thing. You see another drone rallying. Just tells him Dark is not building those roaches, even though he did let the roach horn finish. Lair, second and third gas goes down. And you know what? Building a roach horn on its own, not that big of a commitment. I think it's worse when you get scouted, when your roach horn's just like finishing and you've been saving up lava and overlords to build roaches, because then it's still early enough for the opponent to react, but you've already committed a lot to it. Lings coming across the map, 14 Zerglings. The queen is solid in the wall. A couple of Zergling Baneling buddies going to protect it. Lair is a few seconds later for SERRAL. SERRAL also takes the second and third gas. Dark does take a couple of Zergling hits. 5 roaches on the way for SERRAL right now. Dark's coming in with the sneaky boys. He's distracting on the right side, so these Banelings can go for the boom boom on the left, and he gets 4 drones. He says, how about that, SERRAL? How about a taste of your own medicine, mate? Not as big, because SERRAL hadn't droned the third base up very much yet. I wouldn't have minded SERRAL trying to do a bit of a pressure here with the Roachling, make it look like he's attacking. But Dark's already building 4 roaches and is back to his own droning anyway. Spire goes down. Dark is in love with Spire recently, guys. He's having a love affair with Mutalisk builds. SERRAL, I expect to play Hydras if he scouts it. The Ling's on the left. SERRAL actually wins a little skirmish. SERRAL is ahead on drones right now. And he's going to go straight up to 6 gases. Roach speed's on the way as well as his +1. SERRAL could hit a roach speed +1 timing before the Mutalisks are on the map. But because he's already up at 66 drones, it doesn't look likely. I would expect him to go out for a 4th base and to continue scouting. Overseer's going to fly in. He's seen the Spire with the Changeling. I think the Changeling must have spotted that, guys. Let's go to SERRAL's camera and get into his mind for his response. He's making another Overseer, which makes me think, okay, no, Hydra Den. Now remember, guys, Hydras is okay if you're playing against Roach Muta. I would say the big thing is you don't want to commit to too many. Usually you're going to go just the movement speed upgrade, and you're going to get maybe 5, 6, 7. You don't want to get too many Hydralisks because they're very expensive. Ling's hiding in the top left. He's going to try and run in with Banelings. There are Overlords watching for it though, so he'll need to really distract Dark to do that. Roach count for both sides. If we watch the unit tab, you can see SERRAL there just checked that. He just checked the Spire finished, making sure it didn't cancel. Great scouting for SERRAL. Let's go back to everyone's camera now. Dropper-Lord is on the way here for SERRAL, so he's going to try and go around the back with a Dropper-Lord past this Overlord and do a Baneling drop. Not a bad idea, but definitely something you'll have to wait until the Mutas are maybe on his side of the map. +1 range is finishing for him, whereas +2 is a bit ahead here for Dark. Dark is on 20 seconds already upgraded. Speed Overlord confirms that Mutalisks did indeed get constructed. 10 Hydras, and he's actually going to go Groove Spines. Interesting. So SERRAL not going for the movement speed upgrade. That's interesting. And actually, a couple of Overlords going down is kind of expensive. Dark should not be caught off guard by this. He's had plenty of warning. And he will pull those drones away. He's still going to have a target on these drones. But he pulls back at the last second. 2 drones going down. Nice cleanup. Feels like Dark's got control over this game so far. It's a very even match still. But where is that +2? SERRAL. Oh no, SERRAL. He's forgotten +2, ladies and gentlemen. That's a big one. Dark is getting very far ahead, and he's distracting, which is going to keep SERRAL's attention away from that. SERRAL, unless he's going for a +1 all-in right now, he needs to start that upgrade. And you know what? He might be going for a +1 all-in, actually. These mutas are being annoying. Queen's trying to deal with it. SERRAL's got to go. He can't take any longer. Mutas get a queen in the main base. I think SERRAL may have over-responded there. He's got equal roach count plus 10 Hydras in the backline. Dark's pretty well set up to defend. I don't see Dark dying to this. The Mutas are finding little bits of harassment damage. There are roaches and the Hydras gathering on the front. SERRAL has decided to try to finish this with a clean, simple timing attack. His face looks a little bit anxious. I think he realizes it's going to be very hard to break Dark here. Dark, though, look at that concave. Nicely done. Good setup. The Mutas do try to come in from behind for Dark. He's dropping Biles peppered across the front line of SERRAL. SERRAL's Hydras will do a lot of damage from behind. Oh me, oh my, it's a pretty good army right now. Hitting just before the +2 finishes, the Hydras actually do a lot of damage. I may have underestimated SERRAL's timing attack. The Queen's for Dark a little slow. SERRAL has a single Changeling blocking the Queen from getting through as well. It is letting roaches past it, but the Queen was getting blocked there. It's not making a massive difference. There we go. Finally, Dark realizes, gets rid of that Changeling in the wall. Beautiful little detail that SERRAL added in. But if you lose your Hydras, that's where you lose the big value. And it looks like with Defender's advantage, Dark will overwhelm. Ooh, Dark ties up the series 1-1. All right. We got ourselves a series Dark in the bottom right now. I like that. A bit of a confidence booster. Looking pretty solid there. Hatch first versus Hatch first. No early pools. I think after SERRAL making those mistakes versus Solar, and then I guess correcting it in the last series versus Dark, he's like, yeah, we're not going to get SERRAL out. SERRAL's lost his like 2 or 3 games to early pools for the year. He's been reminded, knowing SERRAL, he's got a bunch of Zergs to practice 12 pool, 13, 12, 1 base Ling Bane on him like 47 times in a row. And he's won every single time, and he said, okay, I think I'm good now. And I think Dark wisely trying to hit him with some later timing, some more surprising build orders. It's funny, because ZvZ used to be a knife fight in a phone booth. It really felt so random. And it really was SERRAL who revolutionized Zerg vs. Zerg back in 2018. He was the first Zerg who showed that if you're good enough, you can both macro perfectly, block their scouting with a wall off, while circling Zerglings around their base, poking in with overlords, and macroing and hitting your injects, and kind of scout what your opponent's up to and respond as is necessary. And it was kind of mind-blowing. I guess we could argue the maps got a little bit bigger, but and that is part of what allowed it over time, is the maps used to be very small in the earlier days of StarCraft 2, but I feel like he got very, very powerful with it. What was it that made SERRAL commit to the all-in in the last game? Was it because his upgrades were late? I actually don't think so. I think he simply just felt like, hey, this has a good chance of killing him. I scouted the mutas early enough. I've got my Hydras. I'm not really taking any real damage. And Roach Hydra attacks really hard to stop, especially if Dark drones up greedily. So I think for SERRAL in that last game, he basically was just saying to himself, like, this is a good timing attack. It's really hard to stop. And if you just commit confidently to a really good timing attack, especially if you're known for being more of a greedy player or more defensive, which I think a lot of players still think of SERRAL as that sort of player, I think he was just hoping to catch Dark off guard, but Dark had played it so well. You know, a little Baneling harass on the 3rd base. He macroed way better than we're used to seeing from Dark. Remember what I said about Dark, guys? He's not getting supply blocked in these games. It's such it sounds silly, but it does feel like Dark, ever since that GSL finals, which he did lose, and he didn't look that amazing in the GSL finals versus Maru, let's be real. But it feels like all the practice for it led to him after that finals in the following month playing like a beast. It feels like maybe he just had an off day, didn't quite perform, but all the practice, the grinding, the focus to get to that finals and, you know, take a few maps off Maru and make it competitive seems to have put Dark back into that state where he really is much better on his macro. Look at this. He's going to hit a 44 supply block as the Overlord pops. That's not just like, oh, you're not getting supply block. That's like near perfect in terms of the macro. Like the Overlord timings are actually deliciously well timed, and that makes me very impressed. Roach Warren goes down for both players at about 340. And you can see this is the meta I talked about where they're both so afraid of like Roach Baneling attacks and stuff like that. They're making very quick Roach Warrens. Now, SERRAL gets a scout off, but he actually loses the Zerglings. Meanwhile, Dark might even get a drone with his harassment. Nicely done. SERRAL lost his Zergling on the other side of the map. 7 more drones building for Dark. A few more for SERRAL as well. And Dark's going to go for that quicker lair, which we saw in game 1 what a quicker lair can do. Gives you the Overseer, you scout what's going on, you can choose to go faster Roach Speed +1 timing or for faster Mutalisks. It gives you options, it gives you information. And that's why that will be very nice. Now, SERRAL is not starting the lair yet, and if he doesn't start it soon, then I would have expected Carapace, but he does start it. It's about maybe 20 seconds behind, not a big deal. Second gas starts up there for SERRAL. He's already got amazing mineral mining. Oh, Dark comes in with the Baneling surprise, and he goes for the... Oh, the center of the mineral patches. That is what I call a big juicy, guys. Big juicy, something that you look for when you're buying fruit from the supermarket. Also, when you're buying drone kills from your opponent's mineral line. And he just picked the juiciest, most flavorsome point. I love how he got right in between about 4 or 5 different mineral patches that were all stacked up mining. And that's actually a really important detail. I see a lot of low-level players just like blow up on the edge of the mineral line. But you want to blow up like right here in the middle, where you can hit like 8 drones at once. And 8 drones with just 2 Banelings is massive. SERRAL's face is still looking a little bit frustrated. You could see his mouth. He was kind of eating his own lips for a little bit. Very common frustrated face you see from players when they're like, did I just let that happen? And to be fair, guys, he only had about 2 seconds to react. The issue there is not slow reaction. It's why was there not an Overlord up here? He has great vision everywhere else, but he was just simply missing an Overlord in a vital position. Now, Why did he have 3 overlords down here this early and not have an overlord up there? That's simply a mistake. So executionally, SERRAL will be aware of that. He'll be frustrated with himself. Despite that, he is miles ahead on the economy. And that's because Dark is going for an all-in. And you know what? He can't scout it, man. This is a fake gas here, guys. Oh, wait, the Changeling gets in. He sees the third base looking very saturated. He's going to see roaches popping out of the natural, and that is not fully saturated. SERRAL, you need to build spines. I don't think he was looking at that Changeling, guys. He needs to build spines right now. He's making overlord speed. SERRAL does not have the read. It is a 54 drone roach all-in, and SERRAL is making a 4th and overlord speed. He was not watching the Changeling for that 1 second when it saw an undersaturated mineral line, and now he's in the doo-doo. He does cancel overlord speed, but without 2 spine crawlers, I don't think he can handle the roach advantage. Dark playing decisive StarCraft. A bit of an advantage early on, and denying the scouting very well. I like the banelings from behind for SERRAL. SERRAL needs to pull drones right now. If you got to pull drones. Oh, SERRAL waiting way too long. And remember, drones are tanks. They are not damage dealers. If you pull the drones too late, it's not going to work. I mean, this was going to be nearly impossible to stop no matter what. But without the drones pulled, there is no way. Dark with a vicious overwhelm. SERRAL there, just didn't have the overlord on the top, got caught by the banelings, was playing super greedy to recover, and that made him even more vulnerable to Dark's follow-up. All right, guys, let's go game 4. SERRAL is behind. We've got a series on our hand. Dark was probably a slight underdog going into this, but I feel like Dark is a player who defies underdog status no matter what. The man is a beast. The man is an absolute monster, and there is no such thing as him being vastly outclassed by just about anybody. I think Zerg vs Terran is a matchup where maybe against the very best of the best, there are times where Bjorn's really switched on and it feels like Dark can't keep up. Or Maru's really switched on and Dark just can't quite keep up. ZvZ, ZVP, I never count him out. And ZVT, I still think he's capable of taking those guys down if he plays his best. There's just, it's a little harder for him. Third hatchery on the way for SERRAL. Slightly later for Dark. Similar openings once again. SERRAL pulls a worker off gas. Dark still has 3 workers on gas. SERRAL starts a Baneling Nest. Dark starts his just a few seconds later. Same build orders, guys. In terms of the opening 2 to 3 minutes, it's almost always identical. This is where we start to see deviations. Now, a couple drones coming out just a few seconds faster there for SERRAL. Not a big deal. So far, neither side's lost any units. SERRAL's going to try to go for the scout even before Ling Speed's done, and Dark's Queen all the way over towards that third base, but actually SERRAL pulls back, doesn't want to give it away. Pre-Ling Speed finishing, 10 more Lings are on the way. Inject goes into the main base. We've got third hatchery there. 31 drones versus 28 workers. All right, nice scout for SERRAL. Sees a little bit of a Ling pressure coming. It's not actually that committed though. And the fact that the Lings are chasing your Zerglings tells you he's not really committing that hard to the aggression. Otherwise, he would have pulled those Lings away by now. But SERRAL actually buys himself a little bit more time. Morph's only a single Baneling. Man, that European greed, dude. Ling does get cleaned up over there. The European players were famous for seeing 40 Zerglings running at them when this style first became popular and morphing a single Baneling and going back to building drones. They did end up adding a little bit more detail. You see SERRAL's got 3 Banelings and 9 Zerglings now. So not crazy greedy. Pretty much perfectly adjusted. As long as you don't make any mistakes. That's the thing, right? It's really knife's edge StarCraft. It's where you're saying, I will defend with just a handful of units. And SERRAL had a good worker advantage for a while there. He's now up still 4 workers, even though Dark's been droning hard behind this. Roachwarren's going to be finishing here for SERRAL. He's got an Evo Chamber on the way, and his lair started earlier. So it feels like a successful defense for him. Units lost tab is in favor of Dark, so he traded a little better. Seeing a few gases and Evo Chamber, SERRAL sees all the signs of a normal game. Everything except the lair. Which, to be fair, that should remind Dark that his lair is very late. But Dark's actually holding the Roach key down. That's a kind of odd decision. Dark, he just got scouted not having a lair, and yet he's committing to mass Roach. SERRAL's just seen the signs of aggression. The question is, how much does he read into it? It's so hard to read what Dark's going to do. He might not take it seriously. The Roaches are starting to gather up. SERRAL needs to do nothing but Roaches from here. If that red production tab shows drones, then SERRAL has done a big doo-doo. SERRAL is building nothing but Roaches. He's well prepared. I mean, he sees the Roaches coming out now. SERRAL knows what's happening. He sees an empty third base. What is the roach count? 12 for Dark, 7 for Serral. But Serral has a defender's advantage, and he's building 3 spine crawlers. Banelings are morphing on the front. That is a lot of Banelings, guys. We're about to see some acidic explosions all over the face of Serral. Let's see how well he spreads. He's got to defend. The Banelings do take out the 2 front spine crawlers. Nicely done. They get a decent hit on the roaches as well. But Serral still has Banelings in reserve. He's got to keep one of those alive. You do not want to throw all the Banelings away. You want to make sure those Zerglings do not flood in and surround. Serral is still up 10 drones. That was a good hold so far. He did lose a queen, so he's building another one up in that main base. Natural is here. Serral not starting roach speed just yet. Spinecrawler finally finishing in the 3rd base. Dark starts droning behind this. He starts a lair. This feels like plan B or plan C. And Dark committing to this after his lack of a lair was scouted. This tells me Dark did not realize that Serral was in his base with a Zergling. It's either that or he thought he was playing some sort of upside down 360, 69, 420 mind game or something like that. It was some sort of like, well, it wouldn't make sense for me to do this. You think I'm going to drone up and make a lair the moment you leave, therefore it'll be most surprising. But the thing is, Serral played middle of the road. Serral doesn't gamble, or he tries not to. So he sees, it looks like you're doing a roach attack, but I'm aware that you might just drone up since it's been scouted. So Serral's like, okay, I'm gonna make a bunch of drones, and then I'm gonna go nothing but roaches, but I've already built a good worker advantage. And because I'm already pressing my economy, so if it is a roach all-in, I'm barely gonna be able to hold on against that roach all-in. I'm just on that margin, and that means if you are droning up, I'm still in a good position. That Overlord getting away on just a few hit points definitely hurts. Serral's on 68 workers. Spire starts for Dark, but he is way behind on the roaches. 10 roaches behind. Roach speed's on the way, +2 as well. But look at that Ling backstab. 2 Banelings that can have something to say about it. There's a reserve in the natural. Reserve Baneling. His name is Bursty Boy. Oh, there's one in the 3rd as well. Serral with an amazing setup, but Dark wisely does not overcommit. That would have been very easy to lose all those Zerglings to a rando Baneling. But instead, Dark's buying time. He's making more roaches at home, even though he's not making roach speed, because he's planning to make all of his gas into muters. He's saying, my roaches are only defensive, don't even bother with roach speed. Serral is in the driver's seat. He's got a 4th base on the way, 2nd Evo making carapace, but he does not know about the Spire, and is getting close to finishing. The Lings are going to start to back off right now. We've got a few Zerglings running in. Bursty Boy does back off. Even in the midst of doing a push, Serral micros a single Baneling versus 2 Zerglings. The speed of these guys will never cease to amaze me. Plenty of roaches to defend this. The Ling's not going to be too effective, but he's trying to stop Serral from retreating, and he does catch 1 or 2 roaches. Behind this, the Speed Overseer goes through the back. He spotted the Spire in the natural. Hydrodent is on the way. Tunneling Claws coming in as well, and of course that massive upgrade advantage. Almost 90-second advantage on the +2 attack. 8 Muters coming out right now for Dark. He's going to need to rebuild that 4th base. And Dark, he's not out of this game. He's down, what, 7 workers. Yes, he's down in upgrades. His Roach is going to be a little worse, but can you really kill him as Serral? Serral's down in army supply. I guess that's because of the Mutalisks. Serral has to now go Hydras. I think Serral basically can't kill Dark for a while, but Dark is going to need to navigate some very dangerous waters. Think of him as a guy who's going cave diving in one of those crazy, weird, crack underwater cave things where he's squeezing through. He's got to squeeze through at least 15 meters of pitch black, 0 visibility, and it's like he can barely squeeze through and feel the walls on either side. Because once these tunneling claw roaches start going in, whoo, man. There's going to be roaches on the left, roaches on the bottom. He's going to need overseers everywhere. He needs his units split. There's a roach drop going in the main as well. So this is Serral's favorite move, to sneak roaches in the base. But, oh, Serral forgot burrow. Never mind, guys. The cavern, it's a cavern. It's not a crack. It's actually 10 meters wide. It's fine. Serral forgot to make burrow. Big mistake for Serral. His roach drop turns around embarrassed, and Serral a little frustrated with that, because normally what happens is you get roaches in your main, splits them between the main and the natural, and that allows him to start running roaches in the 3rd and the 4th right now. Now he misses this window, and he has to tech to hive. But his hive is way later. Dark is already on the way. That is a huge mistake for Serral. And I know sometimes I call things huge mistakes, and they're not. That is a massive mistake. His whole play is mid-game Roach Hydra with Tunneling Claws aggression. Without having that, he's now forced to play late game, and Dark gets a free pass past the scariest part in the game. This is absolutely incredible. Yes, I love it. Twitch chat is shouting in all caps. Everybody, you know the words from Artosis' stream. It didn't make! Woo! I swear I built it! That's 100% what Serral's feeling right now. The pain of Artosis playing a TVP in Brood War. This is absolutely the feeling. He's still got a scary army, though. Dark's got to watch out. You got to watch out right now. The Roach Ravager's trying to group up. The Biles should be able to defend here. A couple of Roaches. Oh no, Baneling's actually going to waddle in on the south side. Dark, you got to be careful, mate. Careful, mate. Drones do run away. Good reaction. Mutas are going to clean it up. Nicely done. SERRAL will try to push on the front at the same time. But look at that. Spines coming up. Good defensive positioning. Dark is hanging on like a champ. And the upgrades are getting closer now. It's +2, 1 versus +2. Having a carapace advantage, not that important. That being said, SERRAL has almost got +2 carapace as well. Roaches have snuck into the main. There's a spine crawler there, though, so you're only going to get so much damage. You could focus some drones, but SERRAL not microing it. And look at that. Spines in every base. Dark here, setting himself up so that he can F2. This is actually amazing. A lot of players would try to put overseers everywhere, but Dark is like, screw that. I'll just put a spine in every base, and then I can pretty much F2 when I need to, and I'll just split units off as needed to try to hunt these down. To be fair, he should have sent some Roaches and an overseer to deal with this. And this is part of why I said this would be hard for Dark, because I think it was this exact same map in the last series they played, where SERRAL ran around in circles with Tunneling Claw Roaches, and Dark did not really respond to it properly. I think the reason is Dark doesn't really have a drop defense or defensive control group. He just kind of manually grabs stuff, so it always takes him a little bit longer. If you're attacking him on the front, he's not as methodical with cleaning up Roaches around the base. SERRAL is up onto Hive now, guys. He's got his 3-3 on the way. He's making Lurker upgrades. Dark also is making Lurker upgrades. Notice Dark always goes for Lurker movement speed, Adaptive Talons before going for the other upgrade, because Dark likes to try and find an opening and get his Lurkers in a good position. Whereas SERRAL's just saying, I just want the fighting power. I just want extra range. I want the most important combat upgrade. Ooh, that muta's going to go down. But gets a gas. Just being annoying. You don't really want to ever lose these Mutalisks, because you want to go clean up these Overlords. And actually, wait, why are there this many Overlords in the map? Guys, Dark is somehow missing the, like, 7 Overlords that SERRAL has on this map, and he's not cleaning them up. That's actually, yeah, definitely something he's got to be doing. The big advantage of Mutalisks is you keep your opponent in the dark. Oh, this is really good for Dark, guys. This is really good for Dark. His army stumbles into SERRAL's Roaches, but a very slick reaction by SERRAL. Picks up very quickly, unburrows out of the ground, starts running away. And interestingly, SERRAL got a second Lurker upgrade coming in as well. Did SERRAL go double Lurker then? No, he just got his upgrades faster than I realized. Adrenaline's pumping a little bit, just trying to keep up with these two beasts. Oh, 4 Vipers out already. Oh, we got a Viper and a Lurker with his Bile. Guys, can someone actually answer me? How does Dark kill so many capital ships, spellcasters, full medevacs with Corrosive Bile? Like, no one else has the same hit rate. Is it just he just throws them more often? So he catches players, like, not looking more? Like, I don't understand how he can manage to kill... Like, you're never meant to hit a Viper with the Corrosive Bile. But he just catches SERRAL not looking. And I'm like, who catches SERRAL not looking at that? I don't know. I've never seen that. Nice. Double Parasitic Bomb gets used. SERRAL's like, just get out of here, stupid Mutalisks. A Dark actually spreads them and keeps them alive really nicely. Dark's coming across the map with a pretty big Roach army. 34 Roaches, 3 Lurkers here. SERRAL does have 3 Lurkers. He's got 3 Vipers. They're out of energy right now. Should be fine. SERRAL's maintaining an 8 worker advantage. They both have big banks. But the 3-3 finishing is actually huge. So the +3 carapace is going to negate 1.5 of Dark's attack upgrades. So it's going to be pretty damn effective. It's going to be like having Dark has +1.5 attack, SERRAL has +3 attack, essentially. It's huge. Nice Lurker dodge there. The Nidus in the main base, though. Dark with the backdoor surprise. Oh, SERRAL cannot be happy about this. Vipers are very good at cleaning it up. There's not many Hydras. I don't think they'll be able to get those Vipers down in time. SERRAL needs to Blinding Cloud everything when he goes to break this. No, he's going to abduct. It's a safer way of doing it than pushing up the ramp, but that means he cannot push up that ramp, which means he's going to lose his main base. He's got to start rebuilding tech. He does split his army very well. SERRAL, one of the few players who can remain calm in this scenario. He's going to lose this mineral line from the high ground and this hatchery. Lurker Den, Hydra Den, Infestation Pit. He's already building Hydra Den and Lurker Den up. His hive is on his natural, fortunately for him. He's going to abduct a couple of these Lurkers. They do get ripped out of the ground. One of them survives because it only gets abducted to the high ground. And Dark is doing an amazing job, but SERRAL does counterattack and kill the 5th base. So it's still going to be a similar base count at the end of this. Oh, SERRAL's trying to shove up the ramp. A bunch of Roaches got up there and tried to flank it, but it ends up being a bit of a sloppy fight. Units lost tab is in favor of SERRAL still. These Lurkers in a beautiful position. You cannot get up that ramp. Dark is doing such a good job, but the drones are burrowed. They're hiding there. Army supply very similar. Mass Hydra coming in behind this. He doesn't have Hydra upgrades. Dark has no Hydra upgrades. Oh my god, he's got 35 unupgraded Hydralisks. Oh no, they have +3 attack, no muscular augments, no groove spines. Oh my lord. He sent his soldiers into winter warfare without coats. He's sent them into combat without rifles. There's a goddamn 1 in 3 soldiers gets a sword, 1 gets a rifle, but it's missing literally the bolt that makes it fire. He has to run home and restock his goddamn logistics before he gets back in there. That just shows how ahead SERRAL was, that Dark skipped that as a tactical decision to get more lurkers out, gets the Nidus up, but then he forgets about it and he remaxes on Hydras and then realizes, oh god, because if he got those up faster, he might have been able to run over, snipe this base, run away, but instead he runs out and has to back off and rebuild. Similar armies, if he can get the Hydras together in the upgrades, but the Vipers are all there. You gotta watch out. It's all about abducting each other's Vipers at this point. SERRAL's got the Vipers there. He's gonna come in and start abducting. Oh, nice abducts, but the Hydras are a bit far back there for Dark. Doesn't matter though, he wins the fight. Dark wins the fight. He just killed 4 of SERRAL's Vipers, didn't lose any of his own. He has lost a lot more lurkers, but of course that's because that push into the main. SERRAL comes in, denies Dark's 5th again. Dark is a god of taking good fights. The problem for Dark is that SERRAL is the god of everything. SERRAL is expanding. He is taking new bases. He is reclaiming his main. He has rebuilt his tech. He is using Vipers very efficiently. Even though Dark won the first Viper face-off, he's mining so much less than SERRAL. It won't matter if SERRAL keeps denying bases and running around with these packs of units. Now the trick really is to hold position with your Hydras. Oh, he gets a kill! Gets a kill, very important. You want to hold position your Hydras, guys, to make sure they attack. He still hasn't made muscular augments. Oh, Dark, he's making mass Hydras still. He's got 33 Hydras. He finally... Okay, he realized he starts augments, but it's still 70 seconds out. Lurkers go for a crazy attack, and he gets covered in blinding clouds, but he does answer with his own blinding clouds right afterwards, but I still think this is a crazy attack. Dark, do not go in there. Dark, don't go in there. There's a Zerg in there. There's a SERRAL in there. He's attacking into a choke point of lurkers. He did have some of his own blinding clouds, but that was a great fight for SERRAL. SERRAL is ahead 4,000 resources in the units lost. SERRAL is leaning forward in his chair. He cannot believe that Dark just stepped forward into his territory there. He thought he was completely solid. Look at that, though. Dark on the high ground manages to grab 2 lurkers on the south. Well done. Vipers, though, say, get over here. No fleeing from me, mate. Most of these lurkers are getting taken out. Very good micro on both sides, but look at that. SERRAL still got an army. There are a few lurkers there this time, though, with some queens and some hydras, as long as Dark does... Oh, he's running away. Careful. Whew, this game is close. I'd love to see some lurker harass on both sides. Lurkers running into the back of some of these bases could be very, very annoying. Dark's going to try and take the bottom base and the top base at the same time. That is what I call Mad Dog expanding. Mad Dog expanding is where you basically expand in a way where your opponent gets so many easy attack angles, but you rely on barking at your opponent like a mad dog to keep them afraid of you and kind of backing up and not testing you. You know, you want them to be the mailman who is too afraid to cross that fence. He doesn't know you're actually more afraid of him than he is of you. But that's essentially what Dark's trying to do, is keep SERRAL back on his side of the map. Oh, he gets a nice parasitic bomb, but he loses 2 Vipers for it. If SERRAL splits his army in half, hits both sides, it's going to be really hard for Dark to hold on to either side. And I think SERRAL's getting ready for it. This is going to be super difficult. SERRAL has a bit more bank. He's got those better upgrades. +2 carapace has only just started. He keeps on abducting these units. He's got 7 Vipers versus 1. Dark spent all of his gas remaking Hydras, but none on remaking those Vipers, and it's cost him big time. SERRAL's got that big bank, and this is what I was talking about with SERRAL doing many things at once. Even though he was way ahead earlier, he did forget Burrow. It gave Dark a chance back into the game. Dark got a massive Nidus Worm off. I love that move. I do think if he kind of remembered those Hydra upgrades, this would be a very different game, very different series. But SERRAL hanging on. He's down 2-1. But look at that. Dark counterattacks. Hydras need to pull back to the lurkers. Nice pullback. Remember, he does have the Hydra upgrades now. He's going to at least take out the hatchery if he clicks on it. And, oh my, looks like he's not going to target. He's going to just try and win the fight. And actually, the lurker does very well because there's no detection here. SERRAL attacking on the north, though, looking for an opening. Vipers trade places right there, and both do go down, but then SERRAL gets a second pick off and a third. Parasitic Bomb is never as effective a spell because these players are so good they will always split it up. The hatchery survives in the bottom right. SERRAL loses 7 drones and a lot of units, but he cleans up the army, and anything approximating an even trade is an amazing trade for SERRAL because he is been ahead on the mining for a long time in this game. You can see the income tab in the top left. It's quite similar right now, but the bank is so vastly different and all in SERRAL's favor. Couple lurkers on the right, get a few shots off, pop one of SERRAL's lurkers. But Dark has 4 versus 10. He has 1 Viper versus 6 Vipers. He has a few more Hydras, but Hydras, of course, are a support unit in this scenario. It's the lurkers and the Vipers that kind of do all the fighting, really. Hydras are just there to catch your opponent when they're out of position or when you abduct units. SERRAL snipes the lurker. He's bringing his army south as well. Looks like his whole army. Got some lurkers there. Dark trying to vie for position. His +2 carapace is slowly catching up, man. Top left base is there as well. Dark's hanging on like a champ. He's building Rando Calrissian. For those who don't know, it's often Rando Calrissian the Swarmers. This is Rando Calrissian, the single corruptor. I believe Dark wants to go out. A lot of people want to go out in a blaze of glory. I think Dark wants to go out in a piss of glory. For those who don't know, Corruptor is the only unit in the game that can urinate on enemy structures to do damage. Abathur, who evolved a lot of the Zerg units, especially the ones in StarCraft 2, has a bit of a sick sense of humor. And Dark definitely enjoys that as well, being the fun guy that he is. Hydra's taking a few lurker shots, but they'll clean it up. And 2 Hydras for a lurker. Not a bad trade for SERRAL. Does deny another hatchery. At least Dark cancels that one. Dark trying to take this top left hatchery is crazy, but because he doesn't have Vipers, I mean, he's got 3 now. If he can surprise SERRAL, take out his Vipers, get more energy, maybe he can get back in this. But it just feels like anytime he's fighting out here like this, it's really bad for him. Another lurker harass gets taken down. Units lost tab 8,000 in favor of SERRAL. That is insane. Oh, Hydra lurker coming forward here as well. Hydra's trying to jump on top. Let's go! Dark trying to get good fights, but SERRAL's just too quick to pull back. He really needs SERRAL to just get caught out and take a bad fight. But look, SERRAL's whole army's coming. These Hydras need to run. Dark. This is a bad move. Good pullback. Great pullback by him. At this point, though, SERRAL can abduct Hydralisks. Like, normally you're only abducting power units, but SERRAL should just be looking for any value he can get. And that'd be very effective. SERRAL has a lurker there catching a few long-distance mining drones. I do think trying to take this hatchery in the top left, like I said, is a bit of a crazy move. I do think he should focus on controlling the bottom right, taking that hatchery, and then he just needs to control one area. Slowing this game down is key for Dark. He's not going to win by speeding it up. He's got to slow it down. And if he can just basically get his Viper count up to a similar number, start abducting, slowly grow his lurker count so he's got a little bit of insurance, he'll be good. But right now, this hatchery is just free pickoffs for SERRAL. And that lurker in the bottom right is going to come and do a bit more harassment. Funny enough, if he clicks on that... Oh, no, can't hit it. SERRAL's large. He's in charge. SERRAL is leaning forward in his chair quite a bit. You can tell the man has adrenaline pumping through his skull right now. He's going to have to go for a long walk after this series, win or lose. Dark still looks a bit more chilled. Do you think the Korean players always look quite poised? Ooh, okay, big fight down here. Hydra versus Hydra. Upgrades are closer to even now for Dark, so it's not as bad as it was earlier. Careful of the Vipers. I think it's abducting Hydralisk time, honestly. He's abducting Overseers in right now, which is kind of hilarious. Oh no, Dark just ran 2 Vipers to their death. He's just too far behind, man. He's been too far behind, and at a certain point, you get sick of bleeding out, and he does have to tap out. SERRAL tying up the series 2-2. All right. Going into Babylon, and SERRAL going for a 15 hatch, 15 pool. Very safe. I think he was kind of hoping that Dark would pull out an early pool build because this hard counters it. But it's actually just good in general because this is good for 2 base wall-off builds. Evo Chamber, Roach Warrant, really easy to wall off on this with a nice tight ramp. Unfortunately for SERRAL, Dark is not early pooling. The reason why it's good against early pool is your spawning pool, rather than going down at a minute 14 with a normal hatch first, it goes down at a minute and 3 seconds, which is insanely early. So check this out, guys. We're going to see that perfectly timed spawning pool because SERRAL always hits it just right. 103, just as it's ticking over to 104, spawning pool goes down. The downside of this build is notice he's down 2 workers early on. You can see even 3 workers for a moment, which seems really bad. But because his queens pop out 10, 11 seconds earlier than normal, and his zerglings, you can easily defend cheese. And you've also got a hatchery that starts 11 seconds earlier. So you end up here basically having one extra lava pop out, and then you have your 2 lava injects pop out another 11-12 seconds early. The 15-15 is an awesome build. If you guys haven't seen it, you're watching live, could someone type !1515 in the chat? We have a couple videos talking about this, and I'm really cool to see that basically, yeah, Twitch chat was the first ones. I lost to a guy called Eric in a tournament. Kicked my butt. I thought he did a really dumb build. Chat told me he beat Dark with it the week before. And then he beat me, knocked me out of the tournament. I cast his next game versus Dark, expecting him to get his butt kicked, and he beat Dark again 2 weeks in a row. And that was when I went, oh my god, maybe there's something to this. And I started kind of, making some videos about it. I messaged all the pros, and everyone was kind of like, yeah, seems interesting, but probably not that good. And then SERRAL was the one guy that was like, I think this might be very good. And he started grinding it, and we have seen him use it in all 3 matchups to great effect. It's just an awesome variation that you can mix in there. What's really interesting is if you see this build as Dark, you're expecting no link speed. We have never seen a link speed variation from SERRAL in this matchup, have we? We've seen him do it versus Protoss, but usually, oh, maybe he has, but usually he goes Roach Warren and then potentially like either 2-base Muta or some sort of form of 2-base Roach sort of push. But he's actually going link speed this time. Notice he pulls the drone. Yeah, he wants to hide that link speed very hard. He's going to do a big 2-base Ling Flood to cancel the 3rd, and then macro behind it, I believe. Already building 14 Zerglings, guys. SERRAL's cheesing. I don't know if it's cheesing, but it's definitely a mind game. It's going to be a very heavy Zergling pressure. Dark injecting, droning super hard, because this build is normally with no Ling speed. Like I said, no Ling speed means they can't be aggressive. This is absolutely insane. This is such a clever build. It's the tricks that SERRAL started playing with this build that allows him to beat Clem, to beat Hero, to beat all the top guys so often recently, because they go, okay, cool. I think I figured out this build. And every time we think we've figured out what he's going to do next with it, he does a different transition, catches opponents off guard. This is a beautiful North American build. His chat's claiming it as a North American build. It's definitely in that vein. Surprise your opponent and try to knock him out. Dark. Oh, he's going to see it. He does see the Lings. Dark. But he didn't notice it. He didn't notice it. He's not walling off. Oh no, Dark's dead. He's dead. The Lings are just going to click on that Evo chamber. He doesn't have enough hit points. Oh, he has no fighting units right now. He's trying to emergency wall off. He needs to get the Queen in the choke point right now. He gets the Spine Crawler. Amazing emergency wall off here for Dark. SERRAL needs to target the Roach Warren with as many Lings as he can. He's trying to target the Evos, but that Roach Warren going down is key. Dark starting 4 Roaches. That was the slickest emergency wall-off. He had so little time to respond, but Dark has built an amazing emergency wall-off, but that Roach Warren's about to get breached, and he holds a goal for these Zerglings. They get in! They get in! But guess what? They've realized, you know what? I already made you build 10 buildings. I'm just going to kill your 3rd and run away. It's not even an all-in. SERRAL's droning behind this. He's going to kill the 3rd. Get one of the Roaches that's popping out. Dark having a re-wall right now. Dark builds an emergency spire, realizing he's in a very awkward position right now. And that's a very smart move. I think Dark's playing very smart. That was a clutch save. Most Zergs would be dead there. Dark just did an amazing response. The fact that he didn't notice it over there, slight mistake, it happens. But the fact that he got vision of the speedlings here and then managed to get an Evo wall off up and second layered it, got the spine, and then a 3rd layer, like that is impressive. And even though I think SERRAL's a little ahead in this game, with the mutas, he definitely has a chance to try and get back in it. He's got a cute little wall off. He's making Roach speed +1, Spire. SERRAL should be able to build a nice worker advantage for himself in this situation. Mutas don't care so much about you being a little behind on drones. But SERRAL's building Roaches. That's bad for SERRAL. That's good for Dark. Yeah. If he can... If SERRAL thinks you're going to hit him with Roaches... And, oh my god, does SERRAL not have a lair? He does have a lair, but he's making Carapace. What? SERRAL is making Carapace right now. You normally only do that with Hatchery Tech builds. Is he planning a Roach Ling all in with Roach speed? Or does he know it's Mutalisks? Because Carapace wrecks Mutas. It wrecks Mutaling Bane. This is interesting, guys. SERRAL's behind in tech, but he's way ahead in economy. He sees a quick lair. He doesn't really see that it's Mutalisk tech yet. Let's see what... Okay, the Mutas showed themselves. So this is where Dark's going to start catching up. He's droning his 3rd really hard. His Muta's going to clean up Overlords. How many Roaches does he have? 11 Roaches. This is a good count. Dark's actually done really well to keep his worker count pretty similar. And he's got +1 range, which in the long run will be the better upgrade. Lings try to threaten in, and that's buying time for these overlords to get home. There's 4 queens out with another one on the way. Oh, this is a very close game. I'm very excited. I love the fact, like, when a player tricks someone like that, and then the other player just reacts and handles it at the last second. That's so impressive. Dark has definitely been... He's been eating his Weetabix. He's been taking his vitamins. He's been practicing hard and super focused lately. All right. Ling's going to dance backwards, just trying to distract him. Not really trying to get any damages, SERRAL. SERRAL's still massing roaches, and he's making overlord speed. He's going to plan a queen all in, guys. It's a queen roach overlord highway all in. Ooh, SERRAL is going for the timing attacks. The thing is, he tried this earlier with the Hydras on Royal Blood. Dark has seen him going for a lot of these sort of builds. He sees him breaking the rocks. Dark should know what's happening, and Dark is already massing roaches. Dark is down 15 roaches right now, though. And the queens are going to get over here pretty fast. SERRAL has Carapace. Oh, he actually has 1-1. Sorry, guys. Did I not realize he already had +1 earlier in the game? Am I blind? Apparently, I'm blind. SERRAL with super fast upgrades this game. Oh, here we go. Mutalisks are there. Dark has a Spine Crawler. It's about a 15 roach advantage with the queens as well. This is so hard for Dark to hang on. He walks right past the Biles. SERRAL is diving on top. Dark needs to pull drones. I think he needs to pull drones, but even then, he is so outnumbered. This is a crisp timing, and a small map is so good for aggressive builds like this. Dark's 2-1 not there. His drone count too high. I'm going to show you guys because they did a bad job of setting up that finish. I apologize, guys. It's been a long day and a long week. He built 63 drones, and it's more than that because he went 6 gases versus 4 gas. So he's built 2 more gases and 2 more drones that went into them. And he's making 2-1 upgrades that are only just started, so none of that investment's paying off. The mutas didn't get that much value, and they're worthless in the fight with the queens as well. Perfect timing for SERRAL. Really well played. GG, well played. Okay, this could be it, everybody. We've got SERRAL in the bottom left side of the map, Dark in the top right, and this has been a barn burner from start to finish. SERRAL, honestly, I'm so proud of Dark in that last game. He may have lost the map, but he has won my heart. The fact that he survived the sneakiest Zergling all-in I have ever seen, a 15-15, which SERRAL almost exclusively does gasless with no Ling speed. And then he just goes, oh, by the way, surprise, massive Ling flood. Dark did an amazing emergency wall-off with Evos and Roachhorn there on Babylon. Held on, did end up dying later on to that big Roach Queen push, the Overlords laying out the carpet, but it's still such a close series. Dark was leading 2-1, SERRAL's won the last 2 in a row. 1 more game and SERRAL wins it. 2 more for Dark. Next map, if we get there, is Neo-Humanity. SERRAL's going to have a slightly faster Ling speed. Dark's gas coming in just a second or 2 later. But no big difference there. They've both been opening pretty standard for the most part. That last game was the big deviation, so I expect another quick third hatchery into Baneling Nest. 2 workers on gas for SERRAL as always, 3 for Dark as always. Nothing you can really read into that. I guess if SERRAL was doing a very quick Ling Bane rush, you might see him flood those Zerglings across the map and make like 6-8 Banelings, but that's such an old school build, you almost never see that anymore, not at this level. Third hatchery goes down, both of them taking the linear base. That one's going to take a lot of damage. Ooh. Okay, Dark has got 2 Lings coming out, but the hatchery will get quite damaged. Could set it up for a potential future snipe. Oh, nice engage for Dark. Does get the better focus fire there. Baneling Nest coming down for both sides. SERRAL is building 16 Zerglings. Guys, remember, just making Ling Bane and just doing a big flood and making a bunch of Banelings is an old school strategy. You never see that at this level. Famous last words. My power as a caster cannot be stopped, guys. I can literally force the game to do whatever I want. He's morphing Banelings on the right and the left in a moment. He's going for it. SERRAL is going for broke. The Lings flood out. Banelings are going to be morphing. His Baneling Nest is a little slow, I guess. Oh, Dark's looking for it, but he misses it. Dark misses the Zerglings. They're just out of vision. And they try to come in. They pull back. Banelings on the left. The Banelings aren't going on the right yet. I think he's going to try to hide those inside the main base. Banelings finishing for Dark at the perfect time, though. Dark's got a Roachhorn on the way. These Zerglings do run in. He was going to try to hide them in the back. Doesn't manage to get it off. SERRAL does detonate 1 or 2 Banes, but not a crazy amount of damage by any means. The Zergling does get taken out by the Queen. Just smeared across the ground there. SERRAL's taking the better trade. Army versus army. And he's thinking about running in with the Banelings, but not going to quite be able to. Lair is on the way right now for Dark. Dark is down just a couple of workers. He's gone back to droning pretty well as well. As those Lings run down the right, Serral wisely is backing those drones off from that third base. Alright, Lings and Banes will come up to resecure this mineral line. Serral's still ahead a little on workers, but Dark is playing Mutalisks. I love it. Second gas, third gas, and Spy and Lair already on the way. The Roach Horn is absolutely a fake. He builds an Evo Chamber as if to sell a story. But that Evo Chamber actually leaves a pretty wide choke point. I don't think a Queen can block that. That's a problem. You want to be able to block this from Zerglings getting in. That Evo should be one space to the left, which means Serral's next Zergling Scout could get in for the Scout and see what's going on. Problem is, this is it. Dark's trying to stop it as hard as he can. This Zergling Scout has a mission. The Baneling's going to clean up those Zerglings, and I think he will get inside. See how it goes. Zergling goes to the left for now. Where is Serral's lair? It's not... Oh, he's doing an all-in. Serral's doing a Roach Bane, guys. He starts a lair now. But wait, no. Oh, no. Serral starts droning in a lair. Oh, me, oh my. This is great for Dark. Serral built a bunch of safety Roaches, a bunch of safety Ling Bane. He's sitting there with it. He's not even pretending to push. And Dark has tricked him, man. Serral saw a fast Roach Warren, and he's been conditioned to play so careful against fast Roach Warrens because of all the times Dark, Solar, and Raynor have shoved Roach Bane in and stolen his games. Whose Zerglings just died? Those were Dark Zerglings returning home. Barry the Baneling. Remember, he was waiting over there from earlier. He just killed like 12 or 14 Zerglings. Pretty nicely done. A few Roaches are coming. Serral's kind of committing to this while also not really committing very much. He's morphing Banelings, but he's droning behind it. Serral, if he can find the drone line, he could definitely make this worth his while, but it was a fake out. Tries to force an overreaction. The only problem is it hits so late that Dark is already on 6 gas, 63 workers. So you guys know a common thing is pretending you're going to attack a Zerg, get them scared so they don't build drones. Problem is, if you do that and they've already built all the drones they need for the bases they have, it doesn't really achieve anything. And that's what just happened for Serral. Serral does not know what he's up against. Yes, he does. He's building a Hydra Den. He seems to have inferred that this is Mutalisk play from the lack of Roaches. Serral has a bigger brain than I do, apparently. Who knew that? Literally over 4,000 people who are watching right now. Thank you very much, everybody. I know. 8 mutas are on the way right now. Overseer sees the Spire. He's going to try and go for a Baneling drop, sneaking around the right side. Those Overlords need to get home right now. Yeah, notice he's starting to pull these Overlords home. Bam, bam, bam. That one on the left did get ignored. He's got an Overseer hidden in the back. Mutalisks will find the Overseer. Nicely done. Serral's down 10 workers. Dark's economy is amazing, guys. And Hydras suck versus Mutaling Bane as well. So Serral is going to have to make... Okay, so what he has to do... he's basically going to have to do... Oh, he's going to go Infestors? Okay. You can do a Roach Hydra all-in versus Mutaling Bane. The way you pull it off is you need to use Banelings to deal with their Banelings. He's not going to do that, but if you go 8 Banelings, you can split them up and detonate the opponent's packs of Banelings as they come in on your Hydras. It is one of the hardest pushes to pull off in all of StarCraft 2. I thought Serral was going for it, but the fact that he's committed to 10 Hydralisks here against a Mutaling Bane play is terrible because Hydras are very weak against Banelings. Dark already has Baneling speed on the way, +2 melee on the way, and he's going for a 5th base non-stop Ling Bane from here, and all Dark needs to do is roll Banelings in from the far left and the far right, and Dark would need to be a wizard. Serral would need to be a wizard to defend this. If you can defend the far right and that far left flank from Banelings, and Mutas dancing around at the same time, wow, I don't know, man. It's a long shot. That being said, Dark is still droning. He's taking a little while to get this done. Oh, he does spot the Baneling drop come in. Great play there by Dark. Catches Serral's Baneling drop, shuts it down. Serral going for another desperate Overseer scout. I do think the best way to scout against a Muta player is hide an Overseer in the corner. If you send Changelings in from the side of the map, your opponent normally doesn't notice it. But if you send it from your side, they always catch it. Just a hot tip for anyone playing against Mutas out there. Lurkerden's on the way. Notice it's a Lair Tech Lurkerden, so he's not focusing on getting the best Lurkers out. Serral is focusing on surviving, and he knows he needs Lurkers. I do think Dark has maybe slowed down a little bit on this Baneling timing more than he should have. Oh, look at that, Serral! Cute little Roach positioning there. Just gets back into the choke point, takes out 4 Zerglings before he goes down. Mutas diving the front. Infestors don't quite have Fungal yet. Roach is on the right side trying to intercept this Ling Bane. That's a good move. You can't really deal with the mobility of the Banelings, and they will just run past. But SERRAL doing a very good job of intercepting so far. He's going to have to run drones away from that left side. Queens are there and solid. Mutas try to fly in the main. There was only a single spore. Dark could take that spore out. Dark just missed an opportunity. He was not looking at the Mutalisks. Otherwise, he would have clicked on that spore. I guess maybe he was worried about fungal, but if he clicked the spore crawler, he'd be killing him right now. Dark is letting a bit more time slip by than I'd like. SERRAL is getting a chance. I'm telling you, it's still going to be hard. Look at this Baneling spready. Oh, Dark is coming in with a giant spready. He's coming in with so many Banelings from so many sides. The Muta's distracting in the middle. Banelings on the left rolling in. Queens and Roaches trying to hold on. The drones pull back. Great initial defense. Only going in with one side at a time. You're meant to go in from all sides at once. Maybe making this a bit easier for SERRAL. Oh, but SERRAL, he pulls back to the left. The Banelings are going to get the mineral line, and that's because the Mutas are diving and taking out every single queen, and that is a huge problem. Yeah, the Mutalisks are going to get out of control. They realize now, wait a second, that is only a single spore crawler, and Dark is all over it. Lurkers will clean up the Lings on that base. Ooh, but I don't think it's going to matter. Yeah, even if you get a fungal, you're not going to be able to kill these before they escape. And oh, he turns around, does Dark. Cops another fungal to the face, but those Mutas quick regen, remember. 32 drones went down, 33 even. More Lings coming across, more Mutalisks. You're on 10 gas. You're on 85 drones, 5 bases, 10 gas. 22 Mutalisks are out, and there is not much to defend it. SERRAL has a hive, but he only just got his first Carapace. Carapace is the most important upgrade against Mutaling because Zerglings and Mutas do low damage. Mutas have a bounce, and every bounce gets damage reduced from your armor. Likewise, Zerglings attack super fast but low damage, so every armor is massively impactful. It's one of the rare cases where going armor before range is actually the priority. SERRAL's just kicked in and it will help him out, but can he weather the next wave? Lurker well positioned along with those Roaches. Stops the first wave, second wave coming in from the left. The Roaches very well positioned, nice blocking. And a fungal catches the ones in the middle. Interesting how Dark's kind of attacking from one side at a time. Normally players try to roll every angle at once to overwhelm their opponent. SERRAL's got that sick defensive spready. He's only on 58 workers, but Dark can always just go for Hive, Ultras, and Vipers. Ultra Viper is the easiest way to win from here. Normally Dark, SERRAL, and Reyna all prefer Lurker transition, but when you're this far ahead, Ultra Viper is usually way easier to get to. That being said, the Hive is really not that fast. SERRAL's going to have time to max out. The question is, will SERRAL have time to actually get his Lurker upgrades? He's got a Hive. He hasn't used it. He desperately needs Vipers, actually. He's got 2 Vipers. Oh, okay, watch for the bombs, guys. He's going to throw the bee's nest in. Watch out. We're going to see a Wicker Man moment. Let's see Dark's Nicolas Cage impersonation. Ah, the bees! Viper does almost go down. Look at that. Beautifully. Splits just a few Mutas off. Tanks it. Beautifully done. That was so well done. A few Mutas take damage. He forces the Infestor Viper back without losing the pack. Gets the Hive sniped. Takes another pack of bees to the face. And it's not the cleanest spready, but it'll do. That's it. I think we're seeing a Game 7. This tournament has been absolutely cracked. Every single quarterfinal has been a 4-3 result. We saw multiple 3-2s, multiple reversals, multiple players come back from down 0-2 throughout this tournament, or down 1-3. And we are once again looking like we're going to see a Game 7 in the grand finals. A lot of people were upset when they saw it with Zerg versus Zerg. I think at least a few of those have had their minds changed now, because this has been a banger of a ZvZ. Very high intensity, high skill StarCraft. But Dark playing Mutas on altitude. It's just a great way to play such a big map to take advantage of the mobility. He gets all the Roaches on the right side. The lair is slowly being rebuilt, but SERRAL is limping along in this game. 63 workers, very little economy, and there is Viper Ultra on the way. Dark is a man after my own heart. And the mass Ling drop that I have been raving about this for years. The same move DRG used to snipe SERRAL's Hive and take him out in the group stage of Katowice. Comes in yet again, kills the new hatchery. The Baneling's there, trying to come in. Dark does try to do a bit of a spready. Beautiful, beautiful plays there. Cool detail, guys. If you're ever playing Banelings there in... Oh! Wombo combo, but the fungal doesn't actually land on the Mutas, only on the Overseers. And most of the Mutas get out, and he's replacing that with Ultras. He's lost 19 Mutas, which sounds like a lot, but he's already done so much damage with it. And that is going to be so good. And look at this, he even comes in now. He says, you don't have any energy left. The Mutaling taking out all of those Hydras. Oh, beautiful play there by Dark. GG. Well played. We've got a Game 7, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it's Game 7. The intensity is real. Dark in the bottom right side of the map looking very focused. SERRAL looking straight up frustrated. He's been talking to himself, kind of biting his lip. And you know he's tired, man. These best of sevens are exhausting for both players. There are so much that goes into every game, every decision. And it is going to be Hatch first versus Hatchery first on Neo Humanity. I cannot wait to see how this goes. Now, Dark did make sure we hosted the ESL version. I believe the ESL version fixed the bug where Ravagers couldn't fit through a single gap here or something like that. Or maybe vice versa. I think that's the only difference. I don't think it'll come into play, but we'll see. Dark is always adamant about using the ESL version of Royal Blood as well. This is gasless. Oh, Serral's playing... No, never mind, guys. That's just... I thought that because Dark's gas and pool is insanely early. Dark's doing a dumbass. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much for the love. Top Zero with the 20 bucks. Thank you so much. Sorry, guys. Left my alerts on. Dark is doing a dumbass build. I cannot believe it. He is doing a Link Flood. It's not the fastest version of the dumbass build. I'm not calling Dark a dumbass, in case you guys don't know. I used to call this build the dumbass. The first time I saw it used in a Premier tournament was actually SERRAL versus Rogue in BlizzCon 2018, and it was the only game he lost in that semi-finals. It's a crazy Ling all-in, because you make it look like a normal hatchery expand, but then you go straight for gas and pool, and you flood very fast Zerglings and potentially Banelings across the map. We'll see how much Dark commits. This can be very hard to stop, and Game 7, when you're tired, your reaction speed's going to be down. It's especially tough. And yeah, he's leaving on gas, so he's going to go Ling Bane. Probably a 21, maybe 22 drone Ling Bane all in at most. See how he does it. That Overlord needs to turn around for SERRAL. SERRAL is going Ling speed, pulling a worker off gas. SERRAL's playing stock standard. Against this build, you need to give up your third base and wall off. The last time SERRAL died to this, and he did die to it the last time Solar did it to him, he tried to move out to defend his third base with his queens. Or maybe it was Dark that did it to him. And that's the wrong call. You do not need a third... Oh, and he's taking the purple gas. Guys, wait, did they have this exact same setup? Wasn't this the same thing on this map last time? And SERRAL tried to walk his queens out to defend the third, and then he lost the queens. I'm pretty sure it was versus Dark in the last tournament. It was definitely versus one of these Zergs. The difference is, I think SERRAL should remember that game, and he should know to not try to protect the purple base. He should pull back, defend his natural, and he'll be fine. It was the opposite side of the map, opposite spawn, but it was the exact same setup, and he's doing it again. SERRAL has no idea because he's seen a drone go to take the third. It looks like a normal build, and the Lings are about to flood out. It's a 19 worker, massive Ling Bane all in, but SERRAL is already massing Zerglings himself. SERRAL was planning to be aggressive anyway. SERRAL sees the Zerglings come out. He should know what's happening. He should pull back right now and defend. He should just give up that third base. He does not need to defend it. And he's pulling back. He's not pulling his queens out this time. He's just going to defend near his ramp. This should be a defense for SERRAL because he's already ready. The Lings go for this round on the queen, but that gives SERRAL a really nice angle. And the other queen actually gets a beautiful fight. This queen pulls back. She protects herself. Dark might get the kill, but is it worth losing all of your Zerglings? She survives! Protect the queen! God save the queen! I didn't even know. Do they have royalty in Finland? Apparently they do. This man says protect the aristocracy. Oh my lord. He just laid all those... What? He killed 26 Zerglings for 9. Oh my god, and he's got Banelings. And guess what? Dark kept mining gas a little bit, but he actually did not go Banelings. He's all in. Dark's all in Game 7. SERRAL appears to have defended. But Dark is a wily man. He is a man who, where there's a will, there's a way, and Dark has one of the strongest wills of them all. He breaks the rocks in the middle to slow down a counterattack. Wise choice for Dark. The problem is that Dark is trying to go for a Bailey Nest. There is a little Zergling counterattack, or more of a scout, I should call it. SERRAL just saw a natural with 8 drones. His natural has 9. Seems pretty similar, but he's got a purple gas coming up. That's going to give him double mining on those 3 drones. That's like having 3 extra workers. 35 workers versus 25. Big advantage for SERRAL. You can tell SERRAL's in a bit of a chaotic position right now. He's looking tense. Defending that is always so stressful. And Dark's making some Banelings right now. Where are they? Up there. Up behind SERRAL. Does SERRAL know about it? Oh, SERRAL sees it! SERRAL sees it. He sees the Baneling morph. He's going to have to split his Banes. A few up there and a few down here. Because Dark's going to go to the natural once he sees these Banelings, I think. No, he goes straight in. Ooh, nice little dodgy dodge. Roach is coming out now for SERRAL, though. Going to make things very difficult. That one Baneling kind of zoning Dark out. Looks like, oh man, SERRAL defending so well. Dark still massing Ling Bane. He's looking for mistakes. But right now, the GOAT is looking like he will not be stopped. He is all over this early game. It's so hard to keep playing defensive like this. He did mix in his own kind of dirty, aggressive Ling Flood attempt on Babylon that did catch Dark off guard. Dark also responded to that incredibly well. But here in this game, Dark committed so much to this push. This was not just a sneaky Ling Flood. This was a sneaky Zergling all-in attack. He does get the Queen in the main, finally finishing off the Queen. Dark assassinates her, but is that enough? He's also getting a lot of drones. 6 workers, 7 workers just went down. Oh no! SERRAL just lost 8 drones, guys. He didn't kill any in return. Dark got all of his workers away. Damaged, bruised, but not going down. SERRAL, no doubt, having a bit of a flashback to that game, I believe, versus Solar, where he didn't notice a few Zerglings in his main and lost 9 drones. The worker count is still way ahead for SERRAL by 8, and he's got Roach Ravager out, which is the superior tech. He's going to try and make an Evo Chamber. He's going to try to stabilize here. There are still some Banelings in this game, and those Lings will be able to chase down those Zerglings. I like that, though. Dark splits them up. Only gets 1 Zergling in the Nat, and gets 1 in the main. Not too bad for 4 or 5 Lings, as well as keeping the pressure on SERRAL very nicely. Ooh, SERRAL's got a quad of Ravagers. That's an anti-pervert squad. That's the neighborhood watch, and if they catch you peeking in the bushes, out of the bushes into their backyard, man, they will slap cuffs on you, citizens arrest style. The Overlord's gonna have to be very careful for Dark now. Lair is on the way. SERRAL's up 10 workers. +1 range has started for SERRAL, and he's looking rock solid. Dark still looking for weakness. He's building Overlords and an Evo Chamber behind it, but he had to build Roaches because he thought SERRAL was gonna all in, but SERRAL's playing so flexibly right now. And SERRAL is really managing army workers. It's such a defensive stance, but with how compromised Dark's early game was, it's exactly the right way to play. SERRAL still looks way more stressed than Dark in the image, but I think that's just Dark's special ability to accept how screwed up his position is in the game more than anything. Oh, Ravagers get caught. Nice job hiding the Zerglings. He'll get at least 1 of those. He's going to take out 2. Even dodges the biles. He lets them kill themselves. Dark's got some slick micro, man. But how do you defend the +1 Roach attack? SERRAL's got that double gas mining. He's on 55 workers. He's got Roach speed on the way. The lair has just started. And there's still more Lings active on the map here for SERRAL. Overseer's going to poke in as well. The Lings do get shut down on the right. They'll be lucky to get 1 Zergling. And indeed, that's all they get. Overseer will be going down in the natural. And the mass Roaches on the way. 4th base will build behind this. Single corrosive bile says, "Get out of here!" Dude, SERRAL played such an incredible series. Dark mounted such amazing pressure, though. I feel like from the very start of the series, Dark has just put so much pressure on him. He's made SERRAL work for it, and if SERRAL was anything less than perfect, if he made just a small extra mistake here or there, this could have gone so horribly wrong. But perhaps it was the crucial mistake. Trying to use the exact same matchup of builds that you used last time around. And, I mean, to expect SERRAL's pattern recognition to not hold up in that scenario was a long shot. I still think even if SERRAL realizes what was happening, it's not that amazing for SERRAL. It's hard to defend. But he happened to be going for a Lingbane pressure himself, which was the perfect way to counter Dark's build. And now that there is a morass of Roaches. The Black Morass, a goddamn beast. It is a frigging chunder. It's a goddamn chundering thunder of Roaches, and they are about to vomit their acid saliva all over Dark's army. He does not have the numbers, and SERRAL at the end of an insane week of StarCraft comes out on top 4-3, and by golly, he had to work for it.